I was so wrong about white balance. I thought I could just dial in the Kelvin light temperature setting on my camera and bam, I'd have perfect colors. It's setting to an exact value, so it's the most accurate way to set colors, right? Boy, did I get that wrong and cause years of color correction headaches for myself. With this video, I hope I can help save you from some of those same headaches. In this studio, I shoot under controlled lighting, but even if you're not in a studio, properly white balancing your camera will help you get better color consistency from shot to shot. In my case, I shoot a lot of cooking videos using 4 cameras to get different angles. I set my cameras to the same Kelvin temperature on their white balance, but I still struggled with color matching between cameras during editing. I bought a color chart, and anyone who's bought one knows that they're not cheap. And I did my calibrations on it, and I still had problems. And the funny thing is that my oldest, cheapest camera that I use for overhead shots would consistently give me the best colors. For example, here's a shot of some lettuce for a Caesar salad video that I did recently. The overhead shot has the right colors, but the side shot from the latest Lumix S5 IIX has a weird magenta color cast. Worse, the color even changes from shot to shot, so I would go in and have to tweak the colors on each scene one by one. I thought maybe it was reflections or maybe the way the light was hitting the subject as things moved, but it turns out that it was the most basic thing, my white balance. And just setting the Kelvin temperature isn't good enough. Here's why. I think anyone who has done photo or video retouching knows about the color temperature slider. When you adjust the slider, it moves the image between blues and oranges. This is what I was locking in when I set the Kelvin color temperature on the cameras. But that's only half of the equation. Just below the temperature slider is the tint slider. This one moves the image between green and magenta. So by setting the white balance in Kelvin, I'm only locking in the blues and oranges, but the camera is still auto-adjusting the tint's green and magenta values. That's why the green lettuce would be off from camera to camera and even shot to shot. The tint value was going all over the place depending on what else was in the scene. And why was the overhead camera consistently better? Well, when I first set up this studio over a year ago, I did a manual white balance by taking a picture of a white piece of paper because I didn't yet know what Kelvin temperature to use, and I just left it at that. Setting white balance by taking a picture of a card just seems like an old method that's more error-prone, definitely less scientific than setting a precise Kelvin color temperature, right? But by setting the white balance off a card, you're actually fixing both the temperature and the tint of your lighting. This is what you want for proper color. Now, this is probably old news to some people, but I think that there are still a few too many videos and web pages out there that tell people to just set the Kelvin color temperature and you'll get great color. It's only half of the white balance setting, and you're leaving the other half to chance. Even if you shoot in non-studio, non-controlled locations where the lights might change from shot to shot, it's definitely worth taking a bit of time to manually white balance your camera. You'll get much better color consistency throughout the video from shot to shot and from location to location. Now, if you're using multiple cameras like I do here, especially different models of camera, you will still get some variation from camera to camera. That's just how it is. But at least you shouldn't have weird color swings like when you set a Kelvin white balance. Since buying a proper gray card and manually setting the white balance on all of my cameras, I get much better and consistent colors. This simple, cheap card is probably the best investment I've made in years. Exactly how you set the white balance using a gray card will vary from camera to camera, so please check the manual for your camera. The particular brand of gray card that I bought doesn't seem to be available outside of Japan, but I'll put a link in the description to something similar that I found on Amazon. I would try to go with something reputable, not necessarily cheap. since not all whites nor grays are the same, and you can have warm or cool whites and grays. Oh, and it's an affiliate link, so any purchases go towards helping me build this channel. I hope this video helps people who might struggle like I did with poor color, despite setting the Kelvin temperature. It was sure frustrating for me, and despite decades of photography and video experience, I just assumed that setting Kelvin was better. If you don't mind sharing your own story or experience with white balance, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be doing more videos about my trials and tribulations in content creation, so if you're interested in these kinds of videos, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate the support as I continue to build my channel. Thanks for watching.